It's like the whole atmosphere knows that we're about to get fucked by ice.
It is so ironically poetic
That we're having an ice storm?
I've literally been decrying ice for weeks now publicly. I mean, I've shouted from the rooftops and in videos and in texts online, fuck ice.
Yeah.
And
Loudly.
here ice comes to fuck me. It seems like not that ice, but the old natural kind.
We about to get rocked by Mother Nature here in the southern U.S. Whew.
So the whole country is going to get a hard fisting, but
yeah, apparently there were in Michigan. There's Mandy posted that Mandy shared in a chat that like there's a warning about the possibility of trees exploding. Like
yes.
It gets so fucking cold, trees explode.
that was not on my
brain
bingo
cannot.
card.
No, my brain can't even wrap itself around how cold that must be.
It's so tomorrow night is when it begins to freeze, but all the way until Monday night, I think the low is going to be like 16 here.
Yeah, we're not getting above freezing.
It's not made for 16.
No,
I don't have clothes for 16 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm making sure that all of my like comfy, my warm fuzzy clothes, my new articulate coven hoodie, which is
hoodie?
my new softest piece of clothing I own. I've worn it like 3 places since I got it.
I was thinking, so my favorite new piece of I bought a strange looking, really loose, thin hoodie locally, and then put the regular articulate coven logo on it. It's my new favorite piece of material, new favorite piece of clothing. I wear it all the time. But I was like, it's oversized, which is great because I can wear like long johns and a big t-shirt and my hoodie, all while I'm still staying inside under a blanket, and even if the power is out.
Absolutely. Every throw blanket I own, everything's getting like a good wash, so it's ready to rock and roll. Brett has all kinds of plans in case we lose power. You know, here's the thing. We used to be on the same, we never lost power before because we were on the same power grid as one of the like major hospitals, and it's our one of our level 1 trauma centers, so like they aren't losing power, and we were on the same grid as them, and we moved, and we're like down by the state fairgrounds in what many people would consider a bad neighborhood, but we fucking thrive here. And I was like, yeah, we may lose power. And then Brett was like, whenever there's a power outage here, they always assemble like right down the street from us. And then I remembered the fucking prison is just down the street from us.
So they get the power back up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's like, these are the places you can live near and almost be guaranteed that your power is going to be restored quick.
Actually, I love the idea that you were like, I was so surprised to hear that some people consider this a bad neighborhood. I live by the prison. Yeah, that's probably
fine.
Not.
It's fine. You can watch.
It's very safe there. It's my guess.
You can watch season 1 of a Netflix series that features the Pulaski County Detention Center, which is mere blocks from me.
We are the Articulate Coven.
I knew I was going to be off track tonight. I'm a mess.
No, I think that's the perfect preamble for the. I was looking at myself earlier in the mirror, and I was like, I got all these flyaways this morning, and I don't know if they're coming off on camera or not, but I wanted to record something. I wanted to record a Dark Shadows earlier, and partially my energy was just not there because of this storm prep, but also. Right. I felt like I kind of looked like shit today. I was like, we're just winging it. We're in storm prep mode. You're just going to need to know that, folks.
And when you're down here, it is a shit show. God bless.
I will say the beauty of a weekend ahead of us like this, assuming that the literal worst does not happen, and everybody, wherever you are across the country, it's going to be extremely cold. We're going to have a lot of snow and a lot of ice in a lot of places. In particular, Ashley and I live in places that the infrastructure is not set for cold of any kind, really, but particularly my concern is ice. We're not supposed to have snow. We're supposed to have a lot of ice, freezing rain and ice. And so when that happens, all of our power lines are literally power lines. They're never buried underground around here. And so you have ice on those power lines, and it's not one break. It's like 1,000 breaks in
it's bad.
dozen different places. And so it may be, this is what happened in Texas, effectively, like 3 winters ago?
It was in 2021.
Man. I will say this. For prognosticators, Ted Cruz has abandoned the state.
He did. So. He left, and that is a sure sign of a huge storm. It is. You can almost set your clock by it. It's better than the Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's immortal universe, The Vampire Chronicles, Lives of the Mayfair Witches, and the Immortal Universe TV series from AMC and AMC+. The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join. We are the Articulate Coven. We're a podcast about the works of Anne Rice. We are your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. We are wrapping up a wonderful book. What I was going to say was, I love a storm weekend, as long as it doesn't get really bad and we're just, hey, we all get a day off of school, we're stuck in the house for a couple of days or whatever. Great. We can all do without the fast food, and we can eat a few of the leftovers in the fridge,
Absolutely.
Maybe clean out the back of the closet to find that old sweatshirt that you haven't worn in a while.
We are going to cook all of our favorite cold weather foods, and I'm so excited.
Stay off the roads. That's the main thing I want to tell y'all. Like, none of us know how to drive in the snow and ice, but especially if you live below Minnesota, you do not know how to drive in the cold. Don't do it. Just stop it. Stop it. Don't do that.
Stay home.
Yeah. Read a good book. Read a good book. Watch some movies. Download some shit on your tablet before the power goes out.
In case you lose your internet.
And then watch some good shit that you've been putting off. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to watch a couple of movies this weekend. I think Apollo 13's on the deck for tomorrow night, maybe.
Oh my! So why is it that I knew historically about Apollo 13 before I watched that film, and yet I watched it with the most bated breath, so concerned about whether or not they were going to make it back. And I have probably, since that first viewing of that film, watched it, I don't know, probably at least 30 times. And I worry every fucking time. Why is that movie so perfect?
I saw a clip that didn't have anything to do with Tom Hanks yesterday, I think. I think I might have even reposted it on Instagram as Articulate Coven. I can't remember. I'm fairly certain I saw it on Instagram. It was an old interview clip of Ian McKellen, which interestingly came up on the Facebook group this week. Somebody posted a picture of him from Gods and Monsters, and I think it was Patrick Garone shared it and mentioned, wouldn't he have been a great David Talbot, perhaps? Ian, though, in this clip was, I think, being interviewed by Charlie Rose, and the question was, is there anything that you feel like you still need to work on in your craft? And Ian said, oh, yes, of course, of course. And then he began and said, to be as great an actor as Brendan Fraser is. He was with Brendan Fraser in Gods and Monsters, right?
Oh, yeah.
But his point was that Brendan Fraser grew up on screen, whereas Ian McKellen comes from the theater. And Brendan he says, if you watch this film, there are moments where the camera lingers on Brendan's face, not because it is lovely, although it is, but it lingers on his face because we are seeing his inner workings and the play of his mind and the play of his characters' thoughts and drifting, opinions on a subject. We see that all play out in his face in such a minute way, and I don't have that realism, that naturalism on screen. And first of all, I thought, how fucking humble to be Sir Ian McKellen and to doff the cap to Brendan Fraser. But also, in that moment, I realized why Tom Hanks is the national treasure that he is, why he continues through decades after decades after decades to rise above. It's that he plays he plays human in a way that is just impossible. And as Lovett in that film, that's what he brings to it. He's just a guy in that situation. He's never on screen. He never comes off as Tom Hanks,
No.
That's why that film hits home.
Well, and that cast is just fucking out of this world.
Yeah, top to bottom, not just him.
I mean, but fucking Ed Harris. I could sop Ed Harris up with a biscuit. I love that man. I love that man. And Gary Sinise, I had a real thing.
You
for
were a
Gary
Lieutenant
Sinise.
Dan fan. We know. We know.
I am unapologetic. I got to touch that man when I worked at Disney World, and it was a moment. It was a moment.
I can't remember who it was now. Somebody told me about getting to drive Gary Sinise around on a military base. He was there doing the USO thing with his band.
Yeah, he does
and they were
shit.
they were his escort for 2 or 3 days or whatever. And he was just the bee's knees, apparently.
I love to hear that. You love to hear that.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, let's get into this book because it's a really good one, y'all. Genuinely, I know I've seen a few of you say.
We didn't have much of it left.
No, there was it was a little sousson of the novel left. It's so strange.
Expecting something terrible to happen. I was just kind of those last pages. I was just when that, I got nervous.
I don't know if you read all of the comments on some of the threads that other people have posted, but someone mentioned something that happens in an upcoming book.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I may have seen a spoiler, and I was like, oh God, is this it? And then I was I was very, very nervous. I don't mind spoilers. They don't bug me. So
I was 100% sure that it didn't happen in this book. But then I wasn't, and nobody I think nobody contradicted it because they were scared about the spoiler too. Anyway, we won't get into that.
It was fine.
Let's do a little feedback though, because we've got some great stuff to get to in this one.
Awesome.
Okay, first of all, this comes from YouTube on the episode, not the last episode, but the one before, and also how squishy are you? So this is Gru Blade the Fed Slayer. Great
hilarious
username.
name.
If you come to an Anne Rice podcast and think the hosts of the podcast, or Anne Rice for that matter, would not take a ferocious stand against injustice and fascism any chance they got, then I'm going to need you to either rethink your life or go watch some dumbfuck podcast where they don't care about anything. Because we're over here having a grand old time talking about queer vampires and standing in solidarity. As Benji said, the elders will not save us. We need to stand together as a tribe.
Fuck yes.
You want to talk about relevant? I said, that is a word, Gru. Yes, absolutely. It is. Listen, Ashley and I talk about it all the time. We're going to talk about it in our Afterlife segment today. We're going to talk about Star Wars. She and I grew up, and they're every one of our buddies from when we grew up, every single one of them is a fucking Star Wars nerd, almost as big as we are. And so many of them are fucking red-pilled, red hat wearing motherfuckers now. And we're like, how did we take in the same media?
I met a guy. I worked with a guy that was a huge Lord of the Rings fan. When I first met him, I was like, he's got these incredible Lord of the Rings tattoos. And I was like, oh, we're going to be buddies. And then I found out that he was not a buddy. And I was like, did you read the same books I read?
You're like, are you a Saruman fan? What's the deal, my man?
Wait, I should have asked, what's your favorite part? What's your favorite part of the Lord of the Rings? It
I
might
like
have
the part when
informed things.
Saruman ties up Gandalf on top of the tower and threatens him and says that Sauron's already taken over the world, but Saruman's smarter than he is. That's the part I like.
Yeah. Those are screening questions, guys. Screening questions are real important in this day and age.
I reposted somebody reposted, or somebody had shared the scene with Kylo Ren and Luke battling at the end of The Last Jedi. And the commenter said, no matter what you think of this movie, this is one of the greatest scenes in any Star Wars film, period. So amazing. And in the comments, it's a bunch of people being like, man, I can't believe that I didn't notice that Luke wasn't leaving footprints. Or I can't believe I didn't question that he got a shave and a haircut and a dye job before he showed up on Crate, right? To save them all. Like, yes, such a good movie. Anyway, I shared it and I said, to me, there are effectively two questions that they've almost got equal weight now on whether or not I need to ask you any more questions. Where were you on January 6th? And two, what do you think of The Last Jedi? And if your first answer is like, oh, the worst fucking story, I'm like, okay, we're done. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind, friend. I can understand quibble. We can have quibbles with any film. I've said before, my wife is not the giant fan of Sinners that we were. 16 Oscar nominations, by the way, today. Yay.
Hell yes. Broke Titanic's record. Get it.
Yeah, not liking a movie does not disqualify you. But if you can look at Last Jedi and be like, it's the worst Star Wars movie, friend, you and I are not, maybe you're not a Nazi, but I'm not going to listen to your movie opinions at least. Okay. All right. Let's get back into this book. Jane Proust.
The air is thin here. We haven't had enough oxygen.
I haven't even started the propane heaters inside, Ashley. I don't know what my excuse is.
Please tell me you have a carbon monoxide.
We do. I bought an indoor safe one, but still, Kelly and I are talking about like, hey, we got to like cycle it and like we'll crack a window maybe once in a while when we're using it or something. I don't know. Anyway, I hadn't reread Jane Proust, one of our great patrons, says I hadn't reread this book in a while and I'd forgotten how much I had enjoyed it. It felt like meeting up with an old friend after a few years, having a coffee and catching up on old friends. So Armand is in New York now.
Right.
And Louis is with him? Oh,
wow.
And Benji's got a podcast. Always said he was a smart kid. Shame about Makare, but I can't say that I'm surprised. And what did you say that doctor's been up to? Yeah, it does feel like that. It very much feels like that.
I think that's one of the reasons why I just was just voraciously consuming it. You know, I was like, this really feels like this is what I wanted those last couple of books to be. And that wasn't fair to ask them to be. That's not what they were, but this is what I wanted. And so I loved this book. I loved reading it. It felt so familiar and fun and exciting and interesting and dangerous. You know, like I don't know. It just, it clicked. It checked all the boxes for me.
I strongly agree. Okay, a couple more bits of feedback here. This comes from Steve-O over on YouTube. Okay, so I shared this week, since officially Disney announced Kathleen Kennedy has retired and Dave Filoni has taken over the top seat. I say that. They actually split the job. There's a business leader now, and Dave is the creative director for Lucasfilm. But Dave Filoni is in the big chair, so to speak, creatively. He's got the Kevin Feige job pretty much. And so I posted a couple of old reels of us. I posted one where we talked about Kathleen's legacy, and then I posted another one where we both praised Dave Filoni, and we got, first of all, we got a few comments that were shitty. I love hiding somebody.
I have no doubt. I'm a woman with an opinion about Star Wars.
YouTube gives me this great option to hide a user from the channel. And I'm like, oh, I don't ever have to listen to your opinion about my content ever again.
Oh.
And it's not, I haven't blocked them. I think they can still speak it. We just won't ever see it, and neither will anybody else. And I just love that for us. Anyway, on your rant, we were talking about Kathy specifically, and you were like, if you tell me it turns out you like 2 movies, then you do not like Star Wars. Okay. Steve-O says word. Just simply word, Ashley. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I know so many people who have stopped saying they are Star Wars fans publicly because the conception of a Star Wars fan now is someone who shoves their glasses up on their nose and is angry at women. And that is so absurd when we've been fucking fangirling and simping over Princess Leia since the 70s, y'all.
I mean,
like, this is not new. Yeah, like this is a woke ass friend. The original trilogy is celebrating the Viet Cong, motherfuckers. He said it at the time. He wasn't quiet about it. He was like, the Empire is America, and the rebels are like the Viet Cong, guerrilla warfare, fighting for their own home and freedom. And you're like, when did Star Wars get woke? Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the record. I'm on record with my opinions.
I saw like 4 bad takes this week, Ashley, and I got mad all over again. I'm like, dear, we're this close to new movies. We're going to talk about this in our Afterlife segment, but there's like Mando this year. There's another one next year that looks really good. Like, don't shit on the thing that we all
Darth Maul
like.
animated thing coming out.
I haven't watched the trailer yet. I'm saving it for myself like fucking dessert, Ashley. I'm so excited. Whitmer is the best.
Fans.
Is it Whitmer or Whitwer? Anyway, we'll later in the Afterlife segment. Be a patron. Okay.
This is not a Star Wars podcast.
This Alley Dragon says, Lestat laughing maniacally whilst treating Rashomandis like a block of wood was a highlight of this part of the book for me.
Yeah.
I remember getting into an argument on Facebook in a group that turned purist and hated on the show, saying Lestat was played too emotionally by Sam, despite me quoting this from the Vampire Lestat novel. And my worst problem was laughter. I would go into fits of laughter and I couldn't stop. Anything could set me off. The sheer madness of my own position might set me off. I might laugh because the way I am standing. I might laugh because of the place I find myself in an argument with friends and colleagues and peers, et cetera, et cetera. This man says, I'm the kind of guy that laughs at a funeral. Alley Dragon Alley Dragon says it's a trait I share and something that I will always be wildly amusing to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love
strongly agree with that.
Yeah. Anyone that's emotional, he's overly
too emotional.
What book did you read? What the fuck? Sorry. No, everyone's entitled to their opinions.
I mean, he only gets cold like when he's stalking a serial killer. And even then, after he gets him, what does he do? He holds him and he kisses him and he tells him how much he loves him before he kills him. Anyway. Okay. Austin Boozy says, Joel, I'm going to need you to read excerpts as Ed Wynn from now on, please. And thank you. I am the vampire Lestat. I'm immortal, more or less. The light of the sun, the sustained heat of an intense fire, these things might destroy me, but then again, they might not.
Kelly is not going to approve of
She wasn't in the
behavior.
house. She wasn't in the house, so I thought I could get away with it quickly.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Could you imagine if she heard you through the door? Christ.
That won't cost me anything, probably. Okay. All right, let's start into this book a little bit. I got a couple more pieces of feedback. We'll bring those in as the conversation goes on, because I love the end of this book. Okay, we didn't mention it last time. There are 2 things from the last section that I did not have notes for. Okay, we got to the end of the last recording, Ashley, and I did not have a note about Lestat taking in the sacred core. And you started talking about that scene. And I went with it because we say yes and on this motherfucking podcast.
Did you think I read ahead?
I thought you had read ahead. And so I was like, did I black out? Why would I have not made any notes about that? I knew that it happened.
You were just reading it and having a good time.
I was just reading it and having a good time. Anyway, I went back. There were 2 things, though, that I specifically wanted to call attention to in that section. First of all, this is important for this section of the book, I think, and for future, perhaps. Everard hates Rashomandis. You sort of mentioned it. You circled around it because Everard says Rosh has to be dead or else he would have come for me. He would have forgiven me. He would have saved me. We would have been reunited.
Yeah. He's got
And we talked about Rosh uses them. He don't love them like we love them. It's not the same.
right.
Lestat is talking about how he still has this desire to hurt Rosh and to hold him accountable for everything that he's done, even though everybody else has accepted him and Rosh has said all the right things. And, but Lestat's like, you and me probably going to have a reckoning at some point. And he's reading Everard, and Everard's basically like, yeah, you and me too, motherfucker. As a matter of fact, yeah.
Shit.
Okay.
Look, listen, they've had centuries old, millennia old beef, with some of these people. Like, it's going to take more than like we're all family to like get over some, long-term trauma.
Okay. You described that transference scene though so beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
sure it was eloquent.
I gotta go back and listen to it. And for real, it's one of Anne's more lovely passages, which is crazy when you think about like what she is describing there literally. I mean, like even the eyes pulling out and the brain being sucked out and all of that. It's really lovely prose. But there's one part in particular that I was really affected by. Right towards the end of that, after Amiee has been transferred and Makare is dead and Lestat has this like white light moment. And then he comes back to himself and he asks, is Amiee there? They go and they look in the mirror.
Well, that was really cool.
It's lovely. Amiee says in his mind, he says, we are beautiful, you and I.
I love it for him.
It's so lovely, but it gets better to me. Lestat realizes that he is surrounded by the tribe. Everybody that's there in the house is in the room. They all felt it happen. They saw it happen. Also, the beauty of that is, and this is a shorthand for Anne, I suppose, but the beauty of that is that none of them have to explain that Lestat did her no violence, right? That it's not, that nobody has to be like,
offered this to him. Yeah, she was like, come get it.
Amiee chose her. Amiee chose Lestat. Makare chose Lestat. This is exactly what was supposed to happen. And that's what he hears from the crowd. So Amiee, first of all, tells him, we are beautiful, you and I. And then he hears, you were anointed. We are reborn, Prince Lestat. And as he and Amiee turn and look at the collection in front of them, Amiee, and I cried. I'm going to cry probably as I read it now. Amiee says, they are beautiful, these children of me, this tribe of me. How can we not love them? And Lestat says, oh, but we do.
We do.
Oh, but we do.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Y'all, I don't understand. I don't understand absentee parents. I get a real Jones against somebody. I said earlier about The Last Jedi and January 6th. If I find out that you have children that you don't raise, it takes a whole lot of explanation of circumstance before I'm going to give you any more credit, honestly. And I do understand there are reasons. There are good positions to be in. There are positions to be in where giving up your rights and leaving custody, et cetera, might be the right choice for you and the child, et cetera, et cetera. I understand
100%.
I'm just telling you, as a dude who fought to maintain access and the ability to parent his children, I got a real beef for absentee children. Absentee fathers and absentee parents generally. The reason that I do is because it's fucking hard work. It's hard labor. If you don't want to do it, actually, we've had this conversation on the show before. Ashley's like, I don't want them kids. Yeah, good. Then don't have children. It's easy enough to not have children.
I love children. I respect them enough to not have them.
Shake them up, give them a good birthday present, and then leave them the fuck somewhere else, right? That's a good way to be.
I've taught, I've mentored, I have people in my life that I love, like, I think I would love a child, you know, like 100%. And those relationships are so important to me and so special. And you choose to be involved in people's lives. You choose to be involved in anyone's life, but to choose to not be involved in your child's life is it when your circumstances do allow it is kind of a bummer for sure.
It's heavy lifting. Like, it is so
Yeah.
much work, and I understand that I have 11 million of them, as we often joke. But, like, in the worst, and I've had some bad situations where we're literally screaming at each other for whatever reason, right? And it's like, I don't understand how I'm ever going to reach this kid, and why don't they have any patience or appreciation for all the work that I do, et cetera, et
Right.
cetera. And even in those moments, this line is it. This tribe of me, these children of me, you listen. If you can look at someone who you literally co-created, and you cannot have ultimate empathy and appreciation and respect for, and attempt to do your best to get them started in life. My mom always jokes, there's nothing I could do. I could kill her next to kin in cold blood. She'd still show up at prison every day on the visiting day, right? And try to bring me a Whopper from Burger King.
No pickles.
But, like, there's no place I could go that she wouldn't still be my mama, right? That's the way
Right.
that I feel about these kids. That's what Amiee finally realizes here in this moment in Lestat's body. And also, I think Lestat feels it. Lestat has felt connected to this tribe, this articulate coven, as he has described them in the past. But in this moment, it is such a beautiful moment of acceptance and appreciation for what they all have. And like, we've talked about the rest of this book being full of reunions and forgivenesses and etc. And, like, Amiee has done wrong in so many ways. He's killed a few thousand people, for instance.
Yeah. Some of these people's friends, some of these vampires' friends. And they were his kids too, actually. Let's be like,
Yeah.
he's done a little family annihilating, as we say in the true crime world.
Yeah. But the sentiment is amazing. And in this book, series where we talk about how we all confront, like, the dark parts of ourselves and also our aspirations, in one character often, as he's doing both. What's the line that Oscar Wilde says, we're all in the gutter but some of us are looking at the stars, or whatever? Yeah, that's Lestat, right? Like, anyway, that moment was just lovely. I will
It
think
is
about
beautiful.
that a lot.
It was I thought that was a really, this whole last section, this last part, the end of that section, I would say maybe starting around the time that the time before they have the mirror moment where he sees Amel as he sort of existed at that time, kind of like tendrils and sort of like,
Floating blood mist and
yeah, it
everything.
was
Yeah.
so interesting. Like that description, starting around there and going through the rest of the book, it felt very. I was like, this feels so descriptive and rich and like beautifully written. And then we get to the Louis chapter, and I'm like, boom, I'm right back in Interview with a Vampire. Like, immediately, the language, the writing,
Yeah.
the feel of it, immediately. Like, I mean, obviously he's reading the book, but like,
Yeah.
outside of that, the writing about like what he sees and hears and smells while he's in the yard, like when he sees the guy coming in with a knife, all that is so, it feels just like I'm reading Interview with a Vampire, It was wild.
We've talked a lot about how this book feels like a sequel to Queen of the Damned, but structurally and the breadth of what she's doing, it is almost more akin to The Witching Hour, in that you have a section of the book that is about the history, right?
Right.
It's mostly elders telling backstory that we didn't know. And then you have these incredibly rich, descriptive current story chapters,
Yeah.
and all melded together. Now, it's not quite the behemoth that The Witching Hour is,
I
obviously.
would have been mad at her if she had done that.
I wouldn't have minded another
I wouldn't have
2,000
minded it.
pages.
Yeah. I could have another hefty
Whatever.
tome on my shelf. They're well built.
Okay, so Lestat goes out and makes the prince's speech, and it's
Yes.
lovely. It's really, really quite cool, honestly. We get the official pronouncements. We're going to have 3 palaces. We're going to have Trinity Gate in New York. That's the royal residence. We'll have Armand's house in Saint Germain, Lestat's ancestral home in the Auvergne. That's our 3 locations. Please come and join us. TBD on the date, but we're going to have a big ball.
But we're going to
Don't even
have a
worry
big,
about it.
yeah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. We'll always be at one of these places.
Not to care, not to question, not to bother. All of this had been part of the old way for me. I had not seen us as worthy of ceremonies. Marius asks him, I think this is about the idea of like forming a precedent for making and having a ritual, having some words that we say specifically. And Lestat's like, yeah, I would have thought that was silly in the past. That's a good idea, actually.
I mean, they're turning it into a religion.
It is borderline cultish. On the other hand, though, okay, so let me.
My anti-religious brain and my cult sensors go wild when you're like, let's have a ritual. Maybe it should involve blood.
So here's one of the reasons why I think Anne was so in love with the idea of the Talamasca. She needed the structure, the certainty, and the ongoing continuity of the Catholic Church. It was in her very being. What she didn't want was the reliance on an absentee deity in her reading of it, right? And the
absentee
blind,
parental? What?
Yeah, right. The blind adherence to of dogmatic, moral, and sexual code that was, centuries old at that point.
Not serving anyone except the pedophiles.
Yeah, boy, you put it on the nose, didn't you? But it's true, like for real.
Sometimes that outside voice just pops right out.
I got 2 kids that like to go to church, and I literally had a conversation with both of them the other day because I'm like, I don't want to discourage it. If you have a spiritual journey that you feel like you want to go on, or just if you like the social aspects of it, great. But I need you to understand that the structure of that organization and the faith that you were being taught are both inherently going to make you more susceptible to manipulation and coercion. And like, that's something that you got to be on guard for, actually. It's just the way, I mean, it's fine to be anyway, I think that's what Anne's trying to build here. She tried to build it with the Talamasca is like, I want that ongoing, immortal, eternal nature of the Catholic Church.
Well, something she can count on, something like even in the structure of her, even in the structure of her fantasy world, she wants an organization that's steadfast and is reliable.
Yeah, I don't mean to pick on him, but Mark Duke has asked several questions in the Facebook group in the past about like, okay, if Prince Lestat is this, then what is this person's position in the court? Or what would the feast days be for the vampire, court or whatever, right? He's asked some interesting questions like that in the past. And at first I sort of giggle. But I do think that's the kind of thing. I joke about Anne looking for a calendar, but yeah, she wants a calendar, right? Yeah. Like if you're going to be a devout Catholic, then there's Easter, and before Easter comes Lent, and before Lent comes Mardi Gras, and before Mardi Gras comes Annunciation, and before Annunciation comes Christmas, and before Christmas comes, anyway.
And 2, it's got a royal family vibe, like a British royal family vibe, where you have like state dinners and fancy events where you have to wear your tiaras and entertain other heads of state, things like that.
Yes. Okay, I am truly sorry. I have truly in my long life never sought conflict, even when others thought I should. Rashomondis is trying to make amends. He offers his own blood for Rose and Victor, which obviously he's very strong, and that would bring its own sort of recompense to a degree. I'm still with Lestat, though. I'm kind of like, I mean, I believe I have already made my position to you clear. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I do not let you fool me again, in fact, actually.
Yes, no. No, I'm surprised you got one over on me once, actually.
Yeah, Rosh is not going to be at my table, is all I'm saying, after he and I have had to swing swords at one another.
And actually, if he
axes, I
is at
guess.
my table, he's going to be sitting right where I can see him.
He might be being served at my table, maybe. I don't, in a Hannibal sort of way. I'm having dinner with a friend.
Yes.
No, what is it? I'm having a dinner for friend. Yeah.
I'm having an old friend for dinner.
Okay. Prince Lestat says, I am yours now. I belong to the realm. There are a couple of strictures placed on him. I can't remember who it's, but somebody's like, hey, you can't come and go as you please, right? And like, you're not going to run off and get a wild hair.
Yeah, you can't just get sad and go dig yourself into the earth for 1,000 years, you know, like
he's
you
like,
can't.
No, I knew what I was signing up for when I told
you can't go
Amiee
jumping
yes.
into someone else's body, dude. Like, they're like, you gotta behave yourself.
In their defense, very fair question to ask of Lestat. Hey, what are the parameters on this, bud?
Right.
We
should have some ground rules, since, you know, you have the core of all of us in you. And you have behaved rashly in the past.
Word travels fast in the spiritual realm, so the Talamasca elders all are suddenly present to entreaty Prince Lestat. Grimpt especially is welcoming and very excited.
Yes.
They were extending the conversation, obviously, and Lestat finally realizes why. They're studying him and Amiee. They're watching Lestat, and they're all taking mental notes so they can discuss it when they leave their presence again.
Trying to figure out who's the puppet master, what's happening here.
But Lestat realizes Amiee is studying these beings as well. It's Tescamon and Grimpt and
Magnus
and the Talamasca member too. What's his name?
Raymond?
Stuart Townsend.
No.
Not Stuart Townsend. Raymond Gallant. Raymond Gallant. Yeah, I forgot.
Stuart Townsend's in a rug in the Mayfair's attic.
That's right. Townsend's still in a rug in New Orleans.
In the attic, not the basement.
Lestat and Louis are alone finally for the first time in the whole book. And Louis is telling Lestat who he is. And Lestat points out, and I'm Lestat. I'm still your Lestat, which I like. First of all, I like Louis acknowledging that there has in fact been a change, not just in the vampiric world, but the nature of our relationship, right?
Well,
if you and I are married and then I run for president, this relationship changes, right?
Right. Also, our relationship has changed in that you are not you made a choice that is signifying that you are leaving a part of yourself behind that was selfish, that didn't care necessarily about what the future held. You're leaving a part of yourself behind that was kind of selfish, and this is a new version of Lestat.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. Lestat has a little cold feet here as it's time for the ceremony. He tells Rose and Victor how much I grieve for what you might have been in the course of time. And he doesn't say this out loud to them, but he remembers here and reminds us, the reader, I didn't have a choice. Like, this was all thrust upon me. I have lived it to its fullest, you know,
right.
But like, I didn't sign up for this, actually.
Yeah.
And I wonder, in this moment more than any other time he's been involved in a turning, and he doesn't make these two, but still this is all under his eye. I wonder if there's not a part of him. I guess he sort of does it with Rowan, right? Rowan asks to be turned in Blood Canticle, and he turns her down specifically because he's like, you gotta live, woman. Like, life is beautiful and you should have it. And anyway, I do think there's a part of him that kind of longs for the gray-haired Lestat. Like, what would I have been when I was 65?
Even if he had just been 10 years older, even if he had just been, you know, a little bit more sure of himself in a different way than he was, you know. He might have gotten another inch or two, Joel. Maybe he wasn't done growing.
He was old enough. He was done growing. That would have been wishful thinking, I'm afraid. He's not gonna. Who is it? The general or the admiral or whatever, Robinson, that played for the Spurs. He was 20 and in the Navy, and then he had to get kicked off the submarine because he grew 6 inches in a summer or something like that.
That's insane.
Yeah, David Robinson. David Robinson's the guy's name.
I'd go play for the NBA if that.
I know. Well,
I need to grow more than 6 inches, though. I'd be
now,
let me roll up into the NBA 5'5.5".
If I was going to say, if you were 6 inches, I think you could beat, what was the guy's name? Spud Webb? Spud Webb or whatever. I think you'd have him beat.
Yeah,
you could be a great point guard, Ashley.
No,
little Pistol Pete out there. Okay. Keep to your vow. They are not dying. They are coming to you to be prince and princess in your court. It's lovely. It's a lovely little ceremony, actually. And again, it's not my favorite part of the book, but I do like that they have a little pomp and circumstance, and I do like that they're going to do this whole thing. All right. Except...
Goes a little sideways.
Yeah, it goes a little sideways. I was like, do I have a note about that? I didn't take a note about it. Yeah, it doesn't go right. She gets in her head and is like being pulled into the afterlife. Rose isn't going to make it.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's weird. I'm not sure why she put it in there. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just such a short end to this book. Like, I'm not sure what Anne was trying to tell us.
I don't know if it was just I don't know. I didn't this was a little curve I didn't necessarily need, but I went along. We took the ride.
If it had been like chapters long, right? Like if we got stuck where they're not sure whether or not she's going to go into the afterlife, or if we had a whole chapter where we were with her speaking to her ancestors and spirits and like whether or not she's going to go back down the tunnel of light or something. I could have got it.
It seems odd that that's who. Well, I guess it doesn't, because she's only really known shitty people except for Lestat. I'm like, It seems weird that this is who she would see as she was dying, but actually, like, these are your friends and family saying, "Come to the light," except they're horrible.
Yeah, they're all horrible. Exactly. It's like, I take that back. I don't know.
That could be that could be her lived experience. I take that back.
Okay. Here's the other way that I just thought about this. Here's the other way that you could have done it. Hint or do it openly that it's literally like Memnock trying to draw Lestat back into his circle or something. I don't know.
That'd be opening a whole big.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna do the thing, make a point or edit it. Okay. I love Anne. We all love Anne. I really like this book. But here's an example of how even a very experienced, even a very gifted author can, in fact, should benefit from an editor, right? You can have a good relationship with an editor where you tell them to fuck off most of the time. But the editor would have been like, Anne, this goes nowhere. Why don't we do this? Why don't we make it just a little bit lovely for
Are you
Rose?
trying to?
Why don't we punish Rose one more time?
Why do we punish Rose one more time? Bless our girl's heart. Especially now that I'm like, come to the light. We hate you.
I don't get it. All right. Once that is over, though, we meet Cyril. And again, I'm sort of like, why didn't Cyril show up earlier in this book?
Well, and then I was like, did Cyril show up earlier in this book? And I have just forgotten because I met 800 new people in this book.
No, he's never mentioned earlier. So Cyril wakes up and he's been wandering around. He realizes something has happened as remarkable as the waking of the queen years ago. All lies die in the blood. All evil is purged in the blood, he says as he's draining a victim, which I thought was an interesting line there too. Okay, Cyril's a really compelling figure and an interesting storyline. But again, I'm like, why not put him in the mix earlier and have him connected to he's of the same lineage of like a Tescamon, for instance. Mm-hmm. He's another one of the vampires made for the worship of the queen in that blood religion. But like, I don't know. I mean, I like him. I'm glad he's around. I think he comes up in the later books. So like she's laying some seeds here, but
that's what I was thinking and because the only reason to introduce a character this late in a novel is to set up something for the next book.
Yeah.
Is kind of how I felt reading it. And if that doesn't happen, I might be kind of annoyed.
Okay, I literally read these notes twice, and I thought I hadn't made any notes about Rose's fight, but I did. So Rose relives all the horrors of her life as she is turning, as her turning is failing. But one more time here, Gardner comes back so that we can all say, "Fuck you, Gardner." He's choking her, going, "How could you do this to me, Rose? To me?" I will say Simon Vance's Gardner is the best fucking terrible person I've heard maybe ever. When he is indignantly crying at Rose, "How could you do this to me?" I want to shove my whole fucking fist in that dude's face. So Lestat saves her in this dream fight like he's Professor X and brings her back and finishes it off. Okay, and then we get this great scene from Louis, which you've already sort of described a little bit. So first of all, having read the line that somebody mentioned that we mentioned earlier in the thread, I was like, does something, it's not here though, right? Does something, we've mentioned in a previous episode, those, how you'd have kind of a background character in Lost, and then all of a sudden they'd have a whole feature episode, and the whole time you're like, they're about to die, aren't they?
They're about to die.
I thought for sure Louis was in trouble here. I was like, why is he being featured at the end of this book?
Right, what's happening? What are we doing? Yeah, no. But then, I mean, I just was immediately enchanted. And I know that I've been saying that, like, one of the things I like about Body Thief and this book is that they're a little more adventurous and a little bit quicker reads, and you're not stuck in the whole, like, beautiful descriptions of everything the whole time. But the moment I started reading this chapter, I was like, oh, Anne. And then I was like, oh, Louis, this is why I love Louis. Like, and then it's just that reminder of, like, you know, Lestat is such a huge figure and takes all the oxygen in the room, you know, when he's in it. And I forget how much I fucking love Louis, you know?
So I had forgotten, honestly, at the start of this scene that Louis has already had his sort of trials at the end of the Merrick storyline and gotten blood from Lestat. Like, Lestat was like, "Hey, fucker, it's time. You're getting an upgrade." I don't know that it's been said outright. He's also shared blood with Armand at this point in a heavier way. Louis is a much stronger. The Louis in the books at this point is much closer to the Louis that we have in the TV show, for instance, as far as strength.
Strength for sure, yeah.
Yeah, he's not an Armand, he's not a Marius, and he's not trying to be, but he's also not a fledgling anymore like he had been for 200 years, basically.
Well, and didn't he, I mean, he avoided that.
Yeah, he wouldn't drink. He wouldn't
blood.
in the book. Yes, he never drank Armand's blood for that specific purpose until
just like
these years later.
Keeping a little bit of humanity for himself.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's alone in the garden, though. He's reminiscing. He's reading his own book, which I thought was humorous. That would be especially poignant in the show where he sort of hates the book.
Hates the book, yeah.
He had learned his old theology was useless, and perhaps always had been. And boy, I have felt that a few times in my life. So he's attacked by this random robber. And again, Ashley was thinking, like, whoa, what is this? As soon as I was like, who has been sent as an assassin? No, it's just a dude who happened into the wrong garden.
Louis gonna have a snack.
Louis tells him, he's like, "You're in the wrong place, friend." And he goes, "No, you're in the wrong place." So he gives the guy a chance. He's like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?
Yeah.
Is it death?" And he's like, "Oh, it's death." Louis grabs him, drains him, kills him. It's not a problem for Louis.
No.
Of course it's not.
And I was like, whew, thank God.
And the very end of the book, he says, he was part of everything. Okay, this is Lestat's book. I mean, his name's on the fucking cover, right? And yet, the end of this book is just Louis finding himself. It's just Louis finding peace. Like, Lestat's not around. This isn't... I'm telling you, there is a happy ending for the Lestat relationship in these books, but that scene is not in this book. This is just Louis's happy ending, and it's so satisfying.
It's like his acceptance of
him.
of
And this
himself
tribe.
and of these people that we can,
Yeah.
I can have functional relationships with these people I care about. What? And it's worthwhile, and we deserve it. I think that's a big piece of it is that, like, we're not monsters.
We deserve it.
We deserve it. I mean, you're fucking vampires and monsters, but, like, they're not the monsters that they make themselves out to be, you know?
Lestat, I don't think we mentioned this, but he says specifically, I'm not the prince of the damned. We were never damned. He calls them the people of the blood, I think is his preferred title that he uses.
Mhm.
Whatever is the people of the something, I think it's the people of the blood. But it tickled me because it was obviously Anne's reference to the people of the page that she referred to all of us that followed her Facebook.
That's so great.
Yeah. Okay. One last little piece of feedback from Mandy Taylor. Even though I've been reading Anne again for years straight, nearly, because of this crew, this was a particularly thrilling read out of the bunch. Just a random comment as you round it all out. The description of Louis's acceptance sense of peace was really nice at the end of this, and it reminded me so clearly of the look on Jacob's face as Louis as he comes to Nola to find Lestat at the end of season 2. That roll down the window return in the hurricane before the storm. Yeah, that's a very, very good point. That moment in the taxi when he's talking to the guy driving him, it's so clear that Louis feels at peace with himself. And when he comes to Lestat, it's not because he needs anything from Lestat.
No.
In that scene, he's coming to bring Lestat peace, right? I want to bring you a little forgiveness. And the acknowledgement, that beautiful line, and I can't wait to get to it again when we rewatch it, which we're about to do, by the way. We're going to do a full rewatch of the whole series. But when he says, I never saw it as a gift, you know? I didn't think about it as a gift, and it was. Louis here in the book sees it all as a gift now. He sees his place in this. He's not sad sack Louis here, which is really, really cool. Yeah. Okay. 2 cool things to end this book. It's so weird. It's almost like she was pages padding or something. There's an appendix with characters in their chronology.
God, I love
which I
an
loved.
appendix. Please give me one.
Okay, genuinely, that appendix is so cool because it basically is like a mini alphabetary. If you don't own a copy of the alphabetary, but you do own a copy of the Prince Lestat, you can just go to the first appendix and get basically all of the character breakdowns of like who matters in this series. It's pretty cool. And then appendix 2 is an informal guide to the Vampire Chronicles themselves. It breaks down all of the books in like a paragraph, which is really handy too. I love it.
Yes, we love it.
Weird to end the book that way, but I do like it.
Well, and like I think too, it's like showing kind of the formality of like this now is like a history book. This now is like, you know, like it's kind of like it's giving it a vibe of more like a textbook or like a, you know, more of a historical, a historical document. Now that we've made things official and, you know, he's a prince.
Okay, there are 2 pieces that are not really feedback, but 2 things that I wanted to mention briefly. We might do one of them like in a quick fashion, and we'll do one of them in an extended fashion in a future live stream or something. First of all, Tommy on our Facebook group posted some fuck, marry, kills.
Oh, yes. Yes,
which is so much fun. And so we might do an entire episode of Fuck, Marry, Kills from Anne's books, honestly.
I really think that'd be fun.
But I do want you to just begin thinking about that. And if you aren't in the Facebook group, or if you are and you haven't been there this week, go check out those posts. Tommy made a couple of them. They're excellent.
Hilarious. Joel and I are 100% on the same page for at least 2 of them.
Yes. And then the other thing was Rose Sinister on Threads. I think this was yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. She posted, you wake up tomorrow and realize that Interview with the Vampire only exists as some weird book some guy wrote back in the 70s. The Vampire Lestat was some kind of wannabe rock star back in the 80s who disappeared after some kind of scandal concerning an outbreak of violence at his only concert. And a lot of people never got their money back. But like, by now, the world has basically moved on, except for some fringe weirdos on the internet. How are you going to find the vampires? Okay. I don't know that I've even commented on this post. I just liked it and screenshotted it to put in our notes. And I
That's a
genuinely
very fun
think
post.
I think that's not the kind of thing that you and I can do quickly. I think that it is a full episode inducing thing. We've hinted at in the past, we've sort of vaguely discussed, you and I were not involved in any of these things, but it came up in the Facebook group this week. There were online forums where people role played as the characters, and some people believed that they were the real vampires. So like
somebody posted something where someone posted something from YouTube where someone was like, I was in a cult. I was in an Anne Rice cult. Like,
yes. Members of our group were in that group though, and we're talking about their experiences in it. So anyway, I love an ARG game, and the idea of turning the Vampire Chronicles into that sort of thing. What would you do to uncover the secrets if there hadn't been a third book and a fourth book and whatever, but it had all sort of vaguely drifted back into the backgrounds of pop culture? What a fucking cool idea.
Conspiracy theory brain would have loved that.
I mean, I'll tell you, the first thing I would have done is move to goddamn New Orleans, right? I would have lived, I would have haunted New Orleans so thoroughly and so continuously.
I did that as much as I could as it was.
Yeah, anyway, I was fairly certain they weren't real, and I still was like, anybody around?
Not a trip down Rose Street was I not watching.
Anyway, I just thought that was such a brilliant thought experiment, and I do think we'll elaborate on that in the future, so watch for that too. Here's what we've got coming up. Ashley and I are going to talk about in the Afterlife segment tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars, kind of a grading of Kathleen Kennedy's time and some of our favorite projects and least favorite projects from her tenure, and then we'll be talking about what we're hoping for from Dave Filoni and what's coming up on the docket at Star Wars. That's all coming up for patrons in just a little while. Next week, we start our rewatch of the series itself, Interview with the Vampire.
I'm so excited.
Episode 1, is it called Just Press Play? What's the name of episode? In Throes of Increasing Wonder.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll start from the very beginning. We'll go episode by episode. It's so crazy to think about, but Ashley and I have been doing video for so long, and yet we have literally one episode of discussion of Interview with the Vampire, the series, that is on video. It's just the final episode of season 2. Everything else we've done audio only. So here we go.
Here we go. And also, I haven't rewatched it in a hot minute, and I'm real excited.
I started to rewatch it not that long ago, and I put it off because I was like, nah, I'm going to wait until we're talking about it on the show. So I'm excited to get into it now. And then for our Afterlife segments, what we're about to start doing, first of all, next week, we're going to talk about Stranger Things. Me and my kiddos are almost done with the series. And so we'll do one episode where we kind of talk about Stranger Things specifically with our Stephen King connections and things that we saw in it. And then we will launch into Castle Rock. We're going to cover Castle Rock on Hulu.
I'm excited to rewatch that.
There's 2 seasons of that too. I am too. That first season kicked me so hard in the emotional gonads over the
Me too.
Alzheimer's storyline. And then the second season, I haven't really watched at all, I don't think. Maybe the first episode. But it does some of the misery stuff. So I'm excited to get there too. Booyah. All right. All of that coming up. Until then, we have been your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.